The capture setup toolbar allows us to define the capture mode and how the memory is used to acquire into triggered buffers. The instrument can have hundreds of acquisition buffers, and this is very useful if we see a random event on a data acquisition. We can then stop the acquisition and look back through the buffers and find that particular event, and this is a very unique feature of this particular product. So looking at the acquisition modes, the default one is the scope mode. The second one is a persistence mode, and this is a dedicated mode to very fast screen updates, up to 10,000 waveforms per second, and this is very useful for looking for random events on any particular captured data. The third mode is the spectrum mode, and here we can see frequency against amplitude. So here, for example, is a particular component, the 100 kilohertz, it should be, of the signal that is being generated in the arbitrary waveform generator. So I'll just put the cursor onto that, then we can measure the frequency of that particular component and any of its harmonics. So we can go along to the next signal here, and we can see that is the third harmonic component. The next menu item is the setup options for the FFT. We can define the number of bins that the data is acquired into, and we can change the Windows functions and the display mode to magnitude, average and peak hold, and we can change the vertical units and the scale factors to log and linear. I'll return the display for this to the YT mode. The next two icons are the factory default, the home setup mode, and then the auto setup. The time-based factors, the next icon. The next three icons are to handle the circulating memory, because this instrument can have up to 1 gigasample of memory. At the moment we have selected each record to be 1 million samples, and then here we can select the number of buffers that the data, it can be hundreds of buffers. In this particular case we've defined 1,000 buffers, and we've acquired 1,000 buffers of 1 million samples, and then we can step through the acquired data and look for any particular event on any particular buffer, or there's an icon that can graphically show the buffer, so it's very easy to step through all the acquired buffers and look for a particular event. Similarly, we can zoom in, so the zoom factor at the moment is 1, so if we can increase it to, say, zoom factor 4, so here is the whole memory, and on the display then is just the zoom, and we can pick and drag the zoom factor, so we can do it vertically and horizontally. So we could look at just one particular edge, or we could look at the whole data sequence, and when we close the icon, it then returns it to the original scale factor. The next little set are the indicators. So here we have the pointer, and we can select the pointer for selecting any menu item, and for example we could select the zoom icon, and I could zoom in on any particular pulse, and again here we see the overview of the whole memory, and again the particular pulse that is being displayed in the main panel. Again, there's a special icon which will let us return to the original scale factor, but if we change something in the zoom and we want to undo it, there is an undo button, return to the previous setup. Return it to the pointer, so we then can point at any particular menu item.